wait for hopefully someone to jump on. I'm debuting a new pattern that will be released tomorrow, and the #1 question that I always get is how to attach doll heads so that they're not flopping around the doll wobble. And okay, we got some people. Hi! Glad you're here. Sorry my lighting is a little weird. We live in a basement apartment, so any light that I get, we're just happy to have. Okay, so this is my new pattern. Let's see. So this is the Princess Sophie. Ooh, that got weird. Okay, so this is my Sophie doll, but with the princess version. So it'll come with the crown and the dress and the slippers. Everything's removable, so you can take the dress off, you can take the crown off, so you can dress her up however you want. And if you have the original Sophie pattern, then you can use those doll clothes on this one too. So that'll be available tomorrow. And I just wanted to show you, so I mean, there's some head wobble, but they're dolls made out of yarn, so it doesn't bother me that much that they wobble. I don't think I ever had a doll that, unless it was like a Barbie that was plastic. Anyway, so, but that's not too bad. And it's the hair and stuff that makes it so heavy, but you gotta have the pretty ringlets, right? Okay, so for her, I do this doll. I did the same technique that I did with my ballerina. So if you bought that pattern, I talk about how to do it. So I attach this one without sewing. You decrease by 1 more than the pattern states. Like you'll, most of my patterns, you'll have a ring of 12. So 12 stitches like this one. This is my Amelia. So it's a wider head opening. But you'll decrease that by 1 more, so you only have 6, which is why I start with the head. So then you'll just continue the pattern from there, like you normally would. So you would do 6 and then increase, and then stitch 1 and increase. So I'll have a blog post up that has that all written down. This one's a little more wobbly because with this one, actually when I sewed on the arms, okay, so you have that long tail to sew it on. I went through around the neck and attached this part down. So the very bottom part all the way down. And you just, I only do that in the front because that's all you really need it, right? Because you don't want it to flop back because that's where all the hair is. And that just kind of keeps it a little more secure. And yeah, so once you do that, it's pretty solid. Another thing that I really recommend is stuffing the neck as much as you can. So you think that you have enough, you need more all the time. You always need more. Because it compacts, and over time it will like go down. It will not be as fluffy. So you really want to stuff a lot. And I don't stuff everything like that, but the head and the body and the neck, it's stuffed. Like you go until you can't stop. Okay, and then, so I also want to show you how to do when you sew on the head instead of the no sew way. So this is my Amelia base pattern, which is a free pattern on the blog. And the head, they always look a little bit creepy when they're right, there's not really anything to them. But so this one I definitely need to stuff more. I'll show you what I mean. So when I stuff, I'm like, I go around like this part, like I'll put my finger down, can you kind of see what I'm doing there, until I can't anymore. So I probably should have stuffed this a little bit more before I started, but it's the most important tip that I can give to prevent head wobble. Okay. Okay, so I think we're almost there. See what I mean? It's starting to get a little bit harder, and I actually like to use a stuffing stick. If you buy polyfill, I usually buy the Fairfield brand. You can get it at Walmart, or it's on Amazon. Most craft stores have it, and it comes like with a little chopstick thing. I wish I thought to get one out. Anyway, it just looks like a chopstick, absolutely, and I guess I need a little more. And you just like use it to stuff it. It gets down into the, it's great for legs and arms because they're so little. Okay. And one last piece for the top. Okay. So there you go. Okay, and then when I put on the head, I always like to pin it in just a few places, because when I don't, like the eyes will be crooked. That's not what you want. So I always make sure the eyes are straight, and I just use like normal sewing pins and just kind of voodoo doll it. I always feel a little crazy when I do. Okay, I usually only do 2 or 3. I'll show you in just a second what it looks like. Okay, so you can see, just hold it on straight. I take them out as I go around because you don't need them. And I pre-threaded my needle because I had worries about trying to do this live. And this is my bent tip needle, and I really like them. This is from Clover, and I feel like it makes a big difference when you're sewing on the head, because you can kind of like go down, right? So it kind of like curves out, so it's just a little bit easier. I'll try to do that again. I don't think I caught that on the video. And I don't need that either. Okay, so it just kind of, this is a little harder doing it right here, but okay. Which method do I like better, sew it on or the other way? I actually always was pro sewing it on, because I felt like you have a little bit of wobble anyway, like so like with this doll, I didn't actually sew around and there's still wobble, but I really like the method where I sewed it on afterwards, just a little bit to like hold it down, because I mean, look at this. I mean, that's like almost no head wobble, right? That's pretty impressive with the hair and the crown. So I think I will do it that way from now on. Some things you can't though, like let's see, my sheep pattern, which I actually have. So, right, because when you start at the nose and go back, so you have to sew it on. So it's still good to know this way too, because for a lot of other amigurumi stuff, like, it just doesn't work that way. So, and another tip, people ask me, like, or they'll email me and say, my doll's head wobbles, should I go around again? I'm like, yeah, you should sew this around, like, it just once. That's not enough. Like, I sew like my arms and my legs and everything, like I go back and forth like 3 or 4 times. With the head, I do 5 or 6, and I'm not going to do 5 or 6 right now because I don't know if anyone wants to watch that. But yeah, you're seriously sewing that sucker on. Oh, and I got a knot, of course. Which is easier? I think probably if you're more worried about crocheting, then doing the head separate is easier. If you're more worried about sewing it on, then the no-sew method. which seems self-explanatory, like, right. But what's kind of hard with, what I don't like with the no-sew method, here, I'll show you again. So once you do the legs and you'll do the body, and that is pretty solid. And so like once you're here and you're like expanding, I'm like crocheting like this. So I don't love that, but it's easier that way because you don't have to do the head. And it's also kind of nice if like I'm lazy and I don't want to get up and get my scissors, or have to keep track of different like body parts, which that sounds creepy, right? Anyway, so this is one round I'm just finishing. So like I said, I go around 5 or 6 times. Like I am sewing this bad boy on. Okay. And then when you're, okay, I recommend going around more. I'm not going to right now. But then I also go through, and I go through like the neck, and then I'll get part of the head, and then I'll come out on the other side where the neck is. Okay. So it's like going through, and now it's like holding the head part down. I'm sorry, the lighting's so weird. And then I do that again, and I kind of go in like a star shape, like how you would draw like one of those connecting stars, whatever they're called. And I do that, and that helps a lot too. It makes it more sturdy. Okay, so those are my best tips. And I just like, if you take anything away, stuff it full. Use the bent tip, big game changer, and go around and around. Like don't be afraid. And like you want to try to keep the stitches pretty neat, but I rather have a lot of full stitches than a super wobbly head. I can't wait to see your bunny, Mandy. That's seriously one of my favorite projects. So, okay, there is a blog post going up today, and I'll link it to this video. And also my pattern is coming out tomorrow, and there might be a sale. Oh yeah, and I'll put a link to that needle. They're from Clover, and they're on Amazon, and actually they come in like these little cases, which I love because I'm always losing my needles. Okay, so don't forget about the sale tomorrow. If you want to make sure that you don't lose it or you don't miss out, sign up for my email. You can go to my Facebook page and it says sign up. You click that and go. And then, or you can go to my blog and it's on the very top. So, okay, we're excited to publish her tomorrow, and hopefully that was more helpful. Don't be nervous. I feel like people like get really nervous about making dolls, and they shouldn't, because it's actually as easy as almost anything else I've done. They're a little time consuming. I mean, this hair, yeah, you can get them at almost every craft fair. The hair is a labor of love. This dress is kind of a labor of love. There's a lot of double crochets in there. But I provide tons of tips in all of my patterns, and a lot of them are free on the blog. And I really think that anyone who can crochet in the round, a single crochet in the round, you can make it all. So, okay, thanks so much. And I'll link all those things so that you can see them, and make sure that you look out for the pattern tomorrow. Thanks.